House of Representatives.
In Australia, the House of Representatives can only meet for a maximum of 3 years, before its members must face re-election. Any time during this 3-year term, the Prime Minister may request an election.
And the Governor-General has accepted my advice to dissolve both Houses of Parliament.
When this happens, the Governor-General issues a special proclamation and the House of Representatives is then dissolved, or in other words, its business is brought to an end. On election day, Australian citizens aged 18 years and over vote to choose the people who will represent them in the Parliament. The political party, or coalition of parties, with the support of the majority of the members elected to the House of Representatives, forms the government. The leader of the government becomes the Prime Minister.
This is carrying on the great vision of the founders of the Snowy Mountain Speed.
What about the Senate?
In contrast to the House of Representatives, most senators are elected for a 6-year term. The only exception to this rule is for territory senators, who serve a maximum 3-year term. Senate elections use a system of rotation, with half the membership of senators elected every 3 years. When an election for the House of Representatives is called, a half-Senate election is usually held at the same time.
Opening of the new Parliament.
After the general election, the Parliament is formally opened. A recent addition to the opening ceremony is a welcome to country by local Indigenous people, symbolically welcoming people to the land. Senators and members then assemble in their respective houses. The Usher of the Black Rod delivers a message summoning all members to the Senate.
Honourable members, the Usher of the Black Rod with a message from the Deputy appointed by His Excellency the Governor-General.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. Lead on, PM. Not just you. Not just your sorry, speak to. Right?
Honourable members, the Deputy of His Excellency the Governor-General desires your attendance in the Senate chamber.
The ceremony is held in the Senate because there is a convention that the Queen, or the Governor-General representing the Queen, does not enter the House of Representatives. This tradition dates back to the British Parliament in the 17th century.
Members of the Senate and members of the House of Representatives, His Excellency the Governor-General has appointed me as his deputy to declare open the Parliament of the Commonwealth. The Clerk of the Senate will now read the instrument of appointment.
After the Parliament is officially opened, members return to the House of Representatives to be sworn in. In the Senate, senators representing the territories are also sworn in. The House of Representatives then elects a Speaker. This is important because no business can be conducted in the House until the Speaker takes the chair.
I declare the Honourable Member for Casey duly elected as Speaker.
It is customary for the newly elected Speaker to be reluctantly escorted to the chair by his supporters. This is a tradition dating back to the early UK Parliament, when some speakers were beheaded or imprisoned. Later in the day, the Governor-General arrives at the Senate to address members of Parliament.
Mr. President, His Excellency the Governor-General approaches the Senate chamber.
Once again, a message is delivered to the House of Representatives, summoning members to the Senate. As is tradition, the Usher of the Black Rod knocks on the door 3 times and waits to be admitted to the House.
Shape our nation's destiny.
When all members of Parliament are gathered in the Senate, the Governor-General makes an opening speech and sets out the government's plans for the future.
with a multitude of policy choices important not only to how Australians live today, but to what sort of society we bequeath to future generations.
The ceremony concludes with a reception in the Members' Hall at Australia's Parliament House.
Business as usual.
The key finding of this report is not that a disproportionate number of former...
After the Parliament is officially opened, it is business as usual for both the Senate and the House of Representatives.
$25.4 million over 3 years.
This includes debating and making new laws, discussing issues that are important to the nation, and making decisions about governing the country on behalf of all Australians.